Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is the day 6 of our computer vision series. The link of the playlist is in the description below, so make sure to check out the entire series. So today we're going to talk about thresholding using the OpenCV. So OpenCV provides us with two types of thresholding. The first one is called as the simple thresholding or the global thresholding, and the other one is called as the adaptive threshold. So we're going to talk about both of them today. So let's first look at the documentation and let's understand why we apply thresholding to our images. So we can convert our image by applying the threshold into one of these images. The most common use case of thresholding is to convert your image into a binary image, which is this one, or the inverse binary image. This is the most common use case, but you can also convert it into these images as well, which are not binary. Because in a binary image, you only have two kinds of pixels. The pixel value is either 0 or 255, or the pixel value is either 0 or 1. So we are going to use the global threshold or simple thresholding today to convert our image into a binary image. And why do we do that? We are going to talk about that later in the video. And then we're going to talk about the adaptive thresholding. So let's go to VS Code and let's get started. First, I'm going to show you what image we are going to deal with. We're going to deal with this tiny beer image, and the beer is in the center. That's the center object that we have, and we just have a background, and that's all that there is in the image. So to apply thresholding on any image, whether it's the global thresholding or the adaptive thresholding, we have to convert our image into the grayscale image first. So that is what we're going to do today. I'm going to call it as image gray. We have already talked about color spaces in our previous video. So if you guys have not checked that out, you guys can do that by clicking on the top right corner. So we are going to use the OpenCV function, which is called as the convert color, to convert our image into a grayscale image. So we are going to convert from BGR to gray. So I'll show you how that looks like though. I'm going to call that as gray and I'm going to print that out. So let's see how our image looks like. So this is the gray image, and now we are going to use this image to apply thresholding on this image. Okay, so now let's understand what thresholding is. So in the simple thresholding, which is the OpenCV function, it is called as threshold. You first have to obviously pass your image on which you want to apply the thresholding, and then you pass a number to it. Then you pass the threshold value to it. Okay, so for example, in my case, I want to pass 70 over here. I'm saying that 70 is my threshold value. Any number, any pixel value that is less than 70 should become 0. Okay, any value of the pixel that is less than my threshold value should become 0, and any value that is greater than my threshold value, which is 70 in this case, should be equal to 255. I have to define this value. I have to define the second value, the maximum value. Like if the pixel value is greater than the threshold, then the pixel value should become 255. I can even write 200 over here. It's totally up to me. But since I'm creating a binary image, that is why I'm setting the value to 255. So all the pixel values that are less than 70 will become 0, and all the pixel values that are greater than 70 will become 255. So I will get a black and white image. After that, I have to pass another parameter, which is uh, thresh thresh binary inverse. Like I can pass all these things over here, because if you see the documentation, I told you in the simple thresholding we have these 5 options. So I can pass anything that I want to, but for now I'm going to pass the binary threshold. So I am going to write thresh binary over here. So this means all the values less than 70 becomes black, and all the values greater than 70 becomes white. So that is all about this basic thresholding. Now I'm going to visualize it and see if I get a good result. Oh, I missed a step. Obviously, it will return me something, so I have to save that in the variable. So I'm going to save that in red variable and a thresh variable. And now I can visualize my thresh and see if thresholding worked or not. So this was the original image. This is the gray image, and this is the thresh image. Okay, so as you can see, all the pixel values that were greater than 70 have become black. Oh, sorry, all the values that were greater than 70 have become white, and the values that were less than 70 are black now. So why do we use thresholding? Now I'm going to tell you that. we use thresholding for image segmentation. If we want to segment the objects from our images, we can use thresholding, because we had a beer in this image, but using thresholding we have segmented that beer. Now I can use this logic for the object detection, that any pixel value that is black, any pixel value that is 0, you can form a boundary around it, and that is the object. Okay, because these are the black pixel values, although yes, it is not that clear, although yes, there are some errors. You must be like, okay, this part of the beer is missing, right? But still we can identify the location of the beer, that the beer is somewhere over here around the black pixels, right? So this is how, this is one of the use cases, so this is one of the applications of thresholding. So you can use thresholding for object detection or object segmentations to create the segments of our image, because right now, as you can see, we have created the segment of the image, and there was a lot of noise in the image as well, so we can remove that noise as well. And we have talked about image blurring as well, so let's try to remove that noise. So we are going to use the OpenCV function blur, and first we will pass the image, which is called as thresh, and then we're going to define the neighborhood area. And right now I'm going to define the neighborhood area as 6 by 6, and we are going to again apply the threshold on it. So I'm going to just copy paste this line, and instead of image gray, I'm going to pass thresh over here now, and let's see the difference. Okay, yes. So there was a lot of noise in the image, but now all that noise has been removed as well. The image is properly segmented now. So that was all about the global threshold. So in global threshold, we only have one threshold value. All the values less than the threshold value become 0, and all the values greater than that becomes equal to 255. Now let's talk about adaptive threshold. Let's first see the image that we are going to deal with in this one. So the image that we are going to deal with is this letter.png. I did resize the image because the image was too large, so I have resized the image. So as you can see, we have black words written over here, we have a white grayish background, and some sort of shade is falling on it as well. So we have like 3 to 4 kinds of colors inside it. So I can't apply a single threshold value on this, right? I can't apply a single threshold value on it, because if I do, things will get messy. And let me show you what do I mean by that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the code from here, and okay, first I have to convert the image into a grayscale image, so that I'm going to do that. This is simple. I've converted the image into a grayscale image, and let me just visualize that as well. Okay, and let's see that first. Yeah, so this was my actual image, and this is my gray image. Although yes, you must be like, they're similar, why did I even convert it in the first place? Because by default, when you visualize any image using OpenCV, it is a BGR image. So this was a BGR image. I had to convert it into a grayscale image that has only one channel, because when I use the thresholding, it only accepts an image that is one channel and not 3 channels. So it would have given me an error if I use that image directly. Okay, so now I'm going to go and I'm going to apply my normal threshold and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to visualize it as well, and I'm going to call it as global threshold here. Okay, and for now, let's just keep its value as 100 and see what happens. Okay. So this was their image, this was their gray image, and we applied a global thresh of 100. And since we had the gray area as well, a lot of the information that was inside the image is lost. Okay, let's try some different values for it. Let's try a greater value like 120 and see what happens. Okay, now more information is lost, so maybe a less value would do. So maybe let's try 80. A little bit better, yes. Let's try 70 now, which we originally had. Yeah, like with 70, we still have a lot of problems. So the thing is that we don't have a single threshold value that we can use for this image, right? So that is where the adaptive threshold comes in. In adaptive threshold, you don't have to define the threshold value yourself. It is going to calculate the threshold value itself. Okay, so let's see how we can apply the threshold value. This was the global threshold, this was not the adaptive threshold. Now we're going to use the OpenCV function to call the adaptive threshold. In this, you have to pass obviously your gray image, so I'm going to pass that, and then you don't have to define the threshold value here. Okay, it will calculate the threshold value itself, and there's not going to be a single threshold value, there are going to be multiple threshold values for this one. So that is why it is useful to use this for such use cases in which you're going to have multiple threshold values, in which you can't decide one threshold value. So instead of telling the threshold value, I'm going to tell the maximum value over here. Okay, so for example, it calculated that my threshold value is going to be 30. So I have to tell the maximum value over here. If the value of my pixel is greater than that 30 threshold value, then it should turn to 255, just like I did over here. But I first defined the threshold value as well, and then I defined the maximum value. Okay, but over here I just have to write the maximum value, that if my threshold is greater, if my value is greater than my threshold value, then the value should become 255. Okay, and then if you guys see the documentation, you will know that you have to pass a few parameters over here. Now let's see where they are. Okay, yeah. So there are two types of adaptive threshold functions that you can apply. Like the parameters are only different, the rest is the same. So instead of copying, I'm going to show it to you guys. So you can, yeah. So you have these two options of parameters. You can either perform adaptive thresh Gaussian, or you can either perform adaptive thresh mean. Okay, so for now I'm gonna go with this, but there are two different ways of using this function, so that's totally up to you how you want to use it. And again, since we're converting our image into a binary image, I am going to use the binary thresh as well, just as I used earlier in my global thresh. Okay, and then it again accepts two parameters as well, which is basically the block size, right? Okay, so think of adaptive thresholding as a window, as a sliding window that slides over your image, that slides over your image. Let me just show you. Let me just comment this because it is not complete. Okay, so think of the adaptive threshold as a window, as a sliding window that slides over your image, and for each window, it calculates a threshold value. So every window, you can say, will have a different threshold value. Okay, so it's going to have multiple threshold values. So what do I mean by block size? Block size means the size of the window. What is going to be the size of your window? Okay, so that is why it's going to have multiple threshold values, and it's going to decide the threshold value itself. So this is the advantage of using adaptive threshold. So now I'm going to uncomment this, and over here I'm going to pass the size of my window, which I think this number should be odd, and I'm going to keep this as 30. I hope this works. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to visualize this image as well, and let's see the difference. I'm going to call it as adaptive thresh. Okay, so I have to save it somewhere as well, so I'm going to call it as adaptive thresh. Okay, now let's see if it works or not. So this was the original image, this was the gray image. This is the image that was produced by our global thresh, and this is the image that is produced by our adaptive thresh. Like just a single line of code, and we have obtained a perfect image. So what happened was, there was a sliding window. We defined the size of the sliding window. That sliding window was sliding on our image, okay, and it was calculating a separate threshold for each window. And that is how we got the perfect image with no loss of information at all. So one of the use cases of using thresholding is image segmentation or object detection. The object in this one was our text, obviously, and it detected that. Okay, so we can use thresholding for creating binary images as well. So we have a lot of different use cases of it. So I hope the topic of today was clear, and you guys can use the adaptive Thrishmeen over here as well and explore. So yeah, that was all for today. I hope that was clear, and make sure to give it a like, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.